Sergeant Hardin was using her access to law enforcement databases, which are confidential, and releasing that information to that subject. So she is being charged with 1 count of disclosure of confidential criminal justice information, which is a 3rd-degree felony, and she is also being charged with 1 count offenses against users of computers, which is also a 3rd-degree felony. She has been arrested and booked this morning. She has chosen not to resign, but this being a felony, we will move to terminate her. She does have the right to civil service processes, but I think we're up to the challenge that she doesn't need to work for this agency. This marks the 2nd arrest in 2021, where in 2020 we had 11 total, and both of which have been police officers for this year, and I'll take questions.
What was the nature of the information that was transferred? Can you speak at all to that?
Yeah, it's individual asking if they were wanted, running names to the database and telling them yes, yes or no if they had warrants.
This was an individual from Georgia?
Yes.
Can you, what's the reaction to that figure that you just quoted, 11 arrests over the past, over last year, this, I guess, being the 13th JSO employee since the beginning of 2020? What's the reaction to that?
My reaction?
Yeah.
That we have 2 this year and 11 last year. You mean, am I surprised that there's 13? No, nothing surprises me in this position anymore. I'll say it that way. But we take each case individually, do an investigation, and if it requires the arrest or we believe that arrest is warranted, then we make the arrest.
What's the timeline on the termination action?
So usually what happens is because of case law, you need to finish, in a perfect world, you finish the criminal investigation first as far as seeing what's going to happen with that before you launch into an administrative, because see, we can order her in to answer questions on the administrative piece, but then at the same time she'd be answering questions that would have to do with the criminal, and you don't want to jeopardize either one of those. So she is on leave without pay pending that being told until that time, and then we go into the administrative piece.
Undersheriff, this is the 2nd or 3rd Sheriff's Office staffer in the past year who's been arrested for accessing information and disseminating, at least 3 that I can remember. Is it time for training to remind folks that just because you have access to this doesn't mean you can play with it? So
you are required by the state of Florida, FDLE, who we get our certification from, that when we use the FCIC, NCIC systems, it talks extensively about password security, screen security for nobody else can see it, and that it talks about secondary dissemination logs where you can pass information on, but it has to be justified in how you use that information. Officers are always trained on it, they know.
Were there any current investigations or potential investigations that were affected by this?
I can't comment on the department in Georgia, but we don't believe so. Definitely not with our agency.
Can you tell us any more about what is happening in Georgia that she was involved with getting information to that person?
She has personal knowledge of that individual. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, just how do they know each other?
They probably just family acquaintances.
Are there any other charges expected or any other individuals being investigated in this?
No.
Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you.